Rakataya Hawa, Rakataya Hawa Shah, Rakataya Hawa, Rakataya Hawa Shah, Call Halal Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah Ba'Shem Ruach Kadash. Double honors to our elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and salutation to the hopeful elect scattered across the four winds. This is your brother Yakar Aben from Great Millstone, Houston, back with another lesson. And I just want to go into this Ephesians real quick. Well, it's gonna take a while, but okay, we're gonna start out here at Ephesians chapter 1 and verse 1, and it says, Paul, an apostle of Yahweh Shah, Mashiach, or the anointed, by the will of the Most High, to the saints which are at Ephesus, and to the faithful in Mashiach Yahweh Shah. So right here, this letter written to the Ephesians are to the saints. So we're going to go get that in Psalms. You know, we've gone over this time and time and time again. This is, let's get it. Psalms chapter 50 and verse 5. It says, Psalms chapter 50 and verse 5, it says, Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. So, okay, let's get that. I mean, we're going to go, because the letter that was written to the Ephesians was written to the saints that were scattered into Ephesus. And, you know, so just looking up who the saints are, it says those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. So let's get that. Oh, come on. God. Okay. Okay, this is Exodus chapter 24 and verse 6, and it says, And Moses took half of the blood and put it in basins, and half of the blood he sprinkled on the altar, and he took the book of the covenant and read it in the audience of the people and said, All that the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai, have said, we will do and be obedient. And Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people and said, Behold, the blood of the covenant which the Lord Yahweh have made with you concerning all these words. So, okay, so in order to be a saint, you had to be a descendant of these people that had the blood sprinkled on them. But we're going to get to that Ephesians 2 and 11. And it says, okay, it says, Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 11, Wherefore remember that ye being in time past Gentiles in the flesh, who are called uncircumcision by that which is called the circumcision in the flesh made by hands, that at that time ye were without Mashiach, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel and strangers from the covenants of promise, having no hope without the Most High in the world. It says strangers from the covenants. Okay, so what are the covenants? We can get that in this is Genesis. Well, let's go back 17. Yeah. Let's start out. This is Genesis chapter 17 and verse 9. It says, And the Most High said unto Abraham, Thou shalt keep my covenant, therefore, thou and thy seed after thee in their generations. This is my covenant which ye shall keep between me and you and thy seed after thee. Every man child among you shall be circumcised, and ye shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be a token of the covenant betwixt me and you, and he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you, every man child in your generations, he that is born in the house or brought with money of any stranger, which is not of thy seed. He that is born in thy house, and he that is brought with thy money, must needs be circumcised, and my covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant. And the uncircumcised man, child, whose flesh of his foreskin is not circumcised, that soul shall be cut off from his people. He hath broken my covenant. Okay, so the Lord made a covenant, first of all, with Abraham, that all the males should be circumcised. And if they broke the covenant, that they would be cut off from their people. So what happens when you're cut off from your people? I mean, if you're being cut off from your people, that means that, hey, this is Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 4, and it says, and thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in a land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever. So if you're cut off from your people, you're discontinued from your heritage. But okay, we're gonna move it forward a bit. This is Genesis chapter 35 and verse 9. And it says, and the Most High appeared unto Jacob again when he came out of Paddan and blessed him. And the Most High said unto him, thy name is Jacob. Thy name shall not be called any more Jacob, but Israel shall be thy name. And he called his name Israel. And the Most High said unto him, I am the power almighty. Be fruitful and multiply. A nation and a company of nations shall be of thee, and kings shall come out of thy loins. And the land which I gave Abraham and Isaac, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed after thee will I give the land. And the Most High went up from him in the place where he talked with him. Okay, but that's the point. It said the promise was that the land. And he said, and to thy seed after thee will I give the land. Now, when we go to this Ephesians, I just put in a search engine, cut off from thy people. So it shows up 23 times, in the Old Testament, where different ordinances that, the Lord put in place that said that if you didn't keep it, you would be cut off from your people. So when a person is cut off from his people, what do you call that people? What do you call them? I mean, if they're not circumcised and they're cut off from their people, wouldn't you call them Gentiles, even though they still are the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? Wouldn't you call those people Gentiles? But we're gonna get that further in Maccabees, because they don't want to go into this. They don't want to look at this history. Okay, yeah, we're gonna start up here close to the top. Yeah, let's start it at the top. This is First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 1, and it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, and he reigned in his stead the first over Greece, and made many wars and won many strongholds, and slew the kings of the earth, and went through to the ends of the earth, and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted, and his heart was lifted up. And he gathered a mighty stronghold and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him. And after these things he fell sick and perceived that he should die. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died, and his servants bare rule every one in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth. It says, and there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been a hostage at Rome, and he reigned in the 137 year of the kingdom of the Greeks. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us, for since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinance of the heathen. And whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen, and made themselves uncircumcised, and forsook the holy covenant, and joined themselves to the heathen, and were sold to do mischief. So when it says, and they made themselves uncircumcised, and forsook the holy covenant, and joined themselves to the heathen, and they were sold to do mischief. So these people that were Israelites, these wicked men that went and made a contract with the heathen, or an agreement with the heathen, so they could do after their customs. Okay, what do we call these people? Because they discontinued from their heritage. They were still physically, the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, but they left the covenants and made themselves uncircumcised. So what would we call these people? We would call them the uncircumcision, and we would call them Gentiles. I mean, because that's what they did. The heathen, the natural heathen, they were never given a covenant of circumcision. I mean, and Abraham was given the covenant, but yet it's through his seed, which was Isaac, then Jacob. But we're going to jump down here a little bit farther, and we're going to pick that up pretty much to finish it off. And this is 1 Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 41. It says, moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion, and sacrificed unto idols, and profaned the Sabbath. For the king had sent letters by messenger unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judea, that they should follow the strange laws of the land, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days, and to pollute the sanctuary, and pollute the sanctuary and the holy people. Set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts, that they should also leave their children uncircumcised, and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation, to the end that they might forget the law and change all the ordinances. And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die. In the selfsame manner wrote he to his whole kingdom, and appointed overseers over all the people, commanding the cities of Judea to sacrifice city by city. Then many of the people were gathered unto them, to wit, every one that forsake the law, and so they committed evils in the land, and drove the Israelites into secret places, even wheresoever they could flee for succor. Wherever they could go for succor is like help essentially, or aid. It says, now the 15th day of the month Casalu, in the 145th year, they set up the abomination of desolation upon the altar, and builded idol altars throughout the cities of Judea on every side, and burnt incense at the doors of their houses and in the streets. And when they had rent in pieces the books of the law which they found, they were burnt. They burnt them with fire. And whosoever was found with any book of the testament, or if any committed to the law, the king's commandment was that they should put him to death. Thus did they, by the authority unto the Israelites every month, to as many as were found in the cities. Now the 25th day of the month they did sacrifice upon the idol altar, which was upon the altar of the Most High. At which time, according to the commandment, they put to death certain women that had caused their children to be circumcised. And they hanged the infants about their necks, and rifled their houses, and slew them that had circumcised them. Howbeit, many in Israel were fully resolved, and confirmed in themselves not to eat any unclean thing. Therefore they chose rather to die, that they might not be defiled with meats, and that they might not profane the holy covenants. So then they died. And there was great wrath upon Israel. So, fast forward hundreds of years, in the Greek captivity, that the Israelites became uncircumcised, and their parents taught them to, that they were heathens. So when we fast forward to Ephesians, we have to look at this history that was hundreds of years long. This history was for hundreds of years. So back going to Ephesians, it says, wherefore remember that ye being in time past Gentiles in the flesh, who are called uncircumcision by that which is called the circumcision in the flesh made by hands. So the uncircumcision were the ones that fell off, and the circumcision were the ones that were still in the land, keeping circumcising their children and raising them in the ways of the Hebrew Israelites. But the uncircumcision were the ones that during the Greek captivity have fell off, because a lot of the Israelites were killed because they tried to circumcise their children. So what happens when when they said, well, we're going to kill your child and we're going to kill you if you circumcise your kid. So hey, they stopped circumcising their kids, and this is who they are speaking to. These are Israelites. These are not foreigners, because the whole letter was written to the saints in Ephesus. And then it says that at that time you were without the anointed, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel, and strangers from the covenants and promise, having no hope and without God in the world. It says, so they were strangers from the covenants, because they had forsaken the law. They had forsaken the law, and they were cut off from their people. But the blood of our Savior allowed them to come back into the fold. But now, in Mashiach Yahushua, ye who sometimes were afar off are made nigh by the blood of the anointed. For he is our peace, who have made both one, and have broken down the middle wall of partition between us. Meaning he broke down the middle wall, but between the circumcision and the uncircumcision, the middle wall between the Lord and his people, the middle wall between the northern tribe and the southern tribe. So having abolished in his flesh the enmity, even the law of commandments contained in ordinances. Okay, so the law of commandments contained in ordinances for to make in himself twain a new man, so making peace. I mean, so all of this in verse 16, and that he might reconcile both unto the Most High in one body by the cross, having slain the enmity thereby. It says, so reconcile. Let's get that word, and then we're gonna close it on out. It says, bring back a former state of harmony. Reconcile fully. To bring back a former state of harmony. So there had to be a former state, which we already established with, the letter being written to the all called to be saints in Ephesus. Right there, Paul, an apostle of Yahushua Mashiach by the will of the Most High, to the saints which are at Ephesus, and to the faithful in Mashiach Yahushua. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. You can switch words and move them around, but when you go back to that Maccabees, I mean, it goes all the way through. Hey, they became uncircumcised, and that's who is talking about the uncircumcision in the New Testament. But you got to know the history. But that and still, the promise is for the land to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So how can their descendants receive the land and everybody else is, a part of that? It doesn't make sense. I mean, it doesn't make sense. With that being said, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Ruach Kadash. Double honors to our elders and apostles, the great millstone. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. I hope this lesson was edifying. Peace and salutations. Shalom.